Today, I'll give you 5 reasons why you should be using spent coffee grounds in your garden. What's better than a delicious cup of coffee early morning or late afternoon in the garden? Birds singing around, insects flying everywhere. I mean, every gardener should have this moment in his garden. And what's better, I'm about to show you how you can get free fertilizer while you're at it. Hello everybody, it's Carl Mormon, your garden guy, and today I'll give you 5 reasons why you should be using spent coffee grounds in your garden. So, why use coffee grounds for mulch? Some might ask you. This is going to help us to keep these little weeds, which are popping up here in between, out of our garden. Oh yes, you heard me. Coffee grounds or spent coffee grounds make a terrific mulch in your garden. They're so high in nitrogen and phosphorus and, believe it or not, potassium as well. And as any seasoned gardener will tell you, that's the secret 3. That's the big 3 to any fertilizer. And what's even better is this stuff takes quite some time to break down, which means that over time, your coffee grounds will feed your garden nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is the 3 macronutrients in every fertilizer. How's that for science? Use spent coffee grounds to keep little snails away from your plants. Ah! Oh yes, it gets even better. The pests hate the stuff. All the baddies in the garden don't like coffee. Isn't that coincidence? It's pretty interesting if you think about it. Most of your pests, well, the insects really, they've got a very strong and sensitive sense of smell. It's one of their biggest senses or their strongest senses. And what happens is when you're adding these coffee grounds or spent coffee grounds to your garden and to your plants, you end up repelling those insects because they don't enjoy the smell of coffee, unlike we do, because I mean, anything like me, I bloody love this stuff. I can't get enough of it. So, yes, luckily for us, our pests don't like the smell of coffee. And the slugs and the snails, they hate coffee grounds. And it's still debatable. People aren't really quite sure, at least in the research I've done. I haven't been able to find out if it is because of the smell, or if it is because of the caffeine, or if it is because of just plain the texture that they don't like walking over. No one seems to really know the actual answer, but it's pretty obvious that snails and slugs hate the stuff. So yeah, put a little ring around your vegetable garden, all your edibles, what you want to protect from snails and slugs. Shoot them up with some coffee and you'll be A for away. Now anyone who's piled up quite a bit of spent coffee grounds in a container and left it for a while, they'll tell you, you'll see this funny little greenish blue sort of mold forming on the coffee grounds, and many people kind of shy away from it then or think there's something wrong with it, and that's quite interesting. It's actually not a mold at all, but it's a fungus that develops on spent coffee grounds. And what's really good for us gardeners is that fungus is extremely beneficial for soil conditions, for microbial action in your soil. So when you see that green little funniness growing there, it's like a fuzzy thing, that's actually really beneficial fungi. They're like little superheroes when it comes to healthy soil and beneficial organisms in it. So save your coffee grounds, add them to your garden, especially when they have that little fungus. And I mean, even if you just add them as a mulch or any of the ways I've mentioned, they will improve your soil with that fungi. They will improve microbial action in your soil. So use spent coffee grounds and the fungi that comes along with it in your garden. Use spent coffee grounds in your compost heap. That's right, add spent coffee grounds to your compost heap. Believe it or not, this is a terrific fertilizer for your compost heap. And the reason is because this stuff is really high in nitrogen. And what happens is nitrogen is extremely important in any compost heap. Partly because the microbial organisms who break down your compost, they enjoy nitrogen. They use nitrogen during the composting process. So nitrogen is always a good thing in your compost heap. Of course, not too much of it. What's also interesting about adding spent coffee grounds to your compost is that spent coffee grounds might be colored brown, but in compost they're seen as a green component. In the kitchen, add your coffee grounds to your sort of kitchen scraps. That goes out to the compost heap and you'll be rewarded thoroughly when spring comes. Use spent coffee grounds for your acid-loving plants. Absolutely, use your spent coffee grounds for all your acid-loving plants. And there's so many of them. I mean, from azaleas to camellias, all your different gardenias. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Melaleucas and blueberries. I mean, it's just crazy how many plants in your garden can benefit from a bit of a caffeine kick. Yeah, so what happens is adding spent coffee grounds to your acid-loving plants actually affects your soil pH quite a bit. And what happens is these coffee grounds sort of have a neutral to a more acidic pH. And when you add that to your acid-loving plants, you're then able to kind of influence the soil pH around that plant. And as a result, you benefit that plant because it loves acid soil. Pretty easy. So it turns out we're not the only guys who love coffee, eh? So next time you brew that boiler or tickle that teaspoon, remember to save your coffee grounds. For your garden likes his Java fix, just as you do. Your coffee and wheat picks.